Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Is it the end of Marcus Rashford at Manchester United? Is it time to go? Or can he be as good at 25 as he was at 23? Or is he finished? Is he never going to get it back? Let's talk about it, because I tell you what, on the week where Ten Hag has been very, very quick to decide what players he's not going to use, Dean Henderson on his way out, Wan-Bissaka on his way out, Eric Bailly on his way out, are other players going to be on their way out? Is it thinkable that Marcus Rashford could be on his way out? Because I tell you what, I have my opinions and they're normally and are quite positive around Rashford, and that won't surprise anybody. But what I would say is it's unacceptable, his performances this season. They've been dreadful. It's like Martial last year. Martial and Rashford, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, were two of my favourite players at United. But you can only be honest and based on what you see. I can't defend the undefendable. Marcus Rashford used to be undefendable for defenders. Now they're pocketing him every week. It's so disappointing when you look at some of his performances this season, because coming on and look, Lingard did it as well, but they came on in the last 20 minutes at the Etihad. They were walking around. They even got singled out by the BBC on Match of the Day. And in Rashford's case, this is a player that is massively popular in the media, in the journalism world, because of what he's done off the pitch. He's a very popular player. But even those journalists are now saying, what's the problem with Marcus Rashford? And I think the problem is, whatever happens, this summer is absolutely crucial for him. There has to be reflection. You have to look in the mirror. So many United players need to look in the mirror this summer, but Marcus Rashford definitely needs to look in the mirror. There's so many things wrong with his game. I sort of mentioned a couple of times this season that could you compare Marcus Rashford to Harvey Barnes at Leicester? And some people laughed about it and thought it was a joke. But if I told you that I think Harvey Barnes has played 30 games this season and Marcus Rashford's played 25. Marcus Rashford's got, I think it's 4 goals and 2 assists. And Harvey Barnes has got 6 goals and 9 assists. That's way, way better. Way, way better. And Leicester have been dreadful and Man United have been dreadful. So you've got to take responsibility for your individual performance. And Rashford this season hasn't been good enough. And I hope he realises that. And I hope those people advising him realise that. Because I do detect with some of this squad, they are blame shifters. They don't take responsibility. Oh, the coach has not been right. The development's not been right. Marcus Rashford this season has 4 goals and 2 assists. Last season, he had, I think, 11 goals and 9 assists. And 17 goals and 7 assists the year before. He was injured the year before last and last year. This year, he's apparently totally fit. So the last couple of years, he did reasonably well statistically with goals and assists, and his game was okay at times. But he was carrying an injury. This season, he's not carrying an injury. He's had his worst season ever since he broke through. He's going to be 25 in October. Now, you can be a good player at 23, and I do believe you can be a good player again at 26. But now is the time for Rashford to really grasp the nettle and find out what he wants to do. I don't think Manchester United want to get rid of him. I personally think Erik Ten Hag, even in the interview, was told we like to keep Rashford, and he's probably said, I can get something out of Rashford. I think United's preference is to keep him, and he's a very lucky boy. Why do they want to keep him? Manchester United's a commercial club. Marcus Rashford's a very, very big brand asset for Manchester United. Like it or lump it, that's big for all clubs now, especially for Manchester United. On the footballing side, he's from the youth. He's English. He's from Manchester. These are all ticks in the box as well. So Manchester United are not going to throw Marcus Rashford away like they might do a Wan-Bissaka or a Juan Mata or an Eric Bailly or a Phil Jones, because Marcus Rashford is an asset financially and commercially, and most importantly, there is probably still a belief that there's a good player there. How does a player that was so good become so predictably bad? And he has been predictably bad. He's been benched this season for people like Bruno on the wing. He's been benched this season when we've had an injury crisis up front. That is how bad he has fallen. Now, look, on his actual game, the $1 million question is, why is he so bad this season? And the answer is, because he's bad this season. He knows the answer to that. Everyone else has given him time. There are some people in the fan base who just don't think Rashford's that good. I've heard ridiculous things like he's just another Danny Welbeck. I think that's ridiculous in relation to talent. I think Rashford has shown at the highest level he can be a good player, but he hasn't shown it for a long time. There's a mentality issue, definitely. There's a weakness there, definitely, and that needs to be addressed. There are times this season when him and others have downed tools, and it's been very visible. Now, he can deny that, but visibly, we've seen it. That's not acceptable. That needs to change. For me, it's the mirror man. He's got to look in the mirror and make sure this never happens again. Or he's got to say, and actually, some people might respect this, he's got to say, I don't want to be at Manchester United anymore. It's better for my career at 25 to be moving on to another club. Maybe that is the way forward. Maybe that's what Manchester United should do. Maybe that's what Rashford should do. Maybe Rashford should be pushing for a move, because I tell you what, there will be clubs looking at him. Maybe a PSG would look at him. Maybe an Arsenal would look at him. Maybe that would be a great move for him. Maybe now is the time to go, because the risk is, if you don't go now and you have another bad season, those options won't be as big. So maybe it is time to go. Maybe it is. I don't know. But looking at his game, there is a big query. There's a conspiracy theory that it's injury. Well, if he's injured still, and look, I remember Van Persie saying about the back thing that Rashford had, it can trouble you even when you've recovered from it. If it's still troubling him, it's always going to trouble him. If that's why he's not playing well, then we're in trouble, and so is Rashford, because he is effectively fit carrying a problem, and that's always going to be a problem. So I don't think that is the issue. I think it's a form thing. And if it's a form thing, could it be? I mean, I think of Rashford, I think of him shooting from distance, I think of him with that little drag back skill that he does to skip past someone in the box. Maybe people have figured him out. I've seen it over the years when I've watched football. You get a player who one season's really good, they figure him out and then he's not so good. Maybe Rashford's been figured out. Maybe defenders realise if you double up on him, he'll get his head down and try and run at you, you'll win the ball. Maybe they figured out that if you commit, he'll do that skill and he'll skip past you because he's quick. Maybe they're dropping off. Maybe they're giving him the space to cross because they know he won't cross. He's got to mix his game up. He's got to get back to the basics and he's got to learn new things. Rashford closes his eyes on headers, can't pass, can't cross. Some of those things are just statements. They're not necessarily true, but he can definitely improve in those areas. So look, is it the end for Marcus Rashford? Get in the comments, let me know. I don't think it is, but I think he's got to change. He's got to stop looking fed up and down and looking for someone else to blame and look at himself, because the criticism is based on your performances. And going back to Harvey Barnes, I mean, look, I'm not going to drill down into stats, but some things that really hit home. Successful attacking actions per 90, Harvey Barnes, 5.2. 3.8 for Marcus Rashford. Progressive runs per 90, 4.2, Harvey Barnes. 2.5, Marcus Rashford. Dribbles per 90, they're both on about 6, but Harvey Barnes' successful dribbles per 90, 57% of those 6. Marcus Rashford, 38%. Everywhere you look, he's had a dreadful season, and that needs to change. And there's a lot of work there, and he's got to put that work in, because so many United players this season haven't bothered to do it. So get your comments in below. Let me know what you think. Should he stay? Should he go? It's not up to you. It's going to be up to Erik ten Hag. Personally, I would keep him for another year. I think it's worth the risk keeping him for another year, but I wouldn't give him a new contract. He's got 2 years left on his deal. If this season goes bad, let him go next summer, because his value won't be that much anyway. It's worth just seeing what happens. I wouldn't be handing a new contract out this summer, but United may well do it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Also, don't forget, Spitch next to me. You can scan your phone with your camera on that QR code, or you can go through the link in the description. What is Spitch? It's a football app game where this weekend it's the final day. It's the Premier League final day. You all start with 0 points. You pick your team. You win your points on their performances. And if your team does well, you can win cash prizes. It's free to play, but you must be over 18 in the UK. Terms and conditions apply. There's also a link for the United Stand community game where you can win a £50 voucher to spend at our United Stand merch shop, and you can get things like this. But more importantly, you'll get to play against me and see if you can beat me. So I'm going to be picking my Premier League 11 to go on the final day. It's going to be an exciting final day anyway, but it's going to be even more exciting seeing how we do with this team. So if you want to play Spitch, links in the description, or you can scan the QR code next to me. Thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video if you're liking these style of videos. Make sure you subscribe bottom right hand corner and give me a comment on Marcus Rashford below. It's an interesting topic. That's why we did it. Thanks for watching.